ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पुंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनकारणम्। हरे कृष्णा. So just wanted to check with you. Last time this rekindling wisdom was being taken. So just wanted to know till where it is completed, so that I can start from there. Anybody has any idea? And also, by the way, before we begin, His Grace Smitakeshava Prabhu, who was taking session last time, his in-laws, father-in-law, mother-in-law, they were sick, and now he said that their oxygen level is going down, so he is busy taking care of them. He's just rushing them to the hospital. He called me today morning, so we're gonna pray for his father-in-law and mother-in-law. You can just chant once Hare Krishna Mahamantra for their benefit. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This session was started last time, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So you can let me know. I'll just revise quickly. So you can let me know where it was ended last time. So it began with this verse. No? So rekindling wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge. So Raja Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitram Vidam Uttamam Pratikshaavagamam Dharmyam Susugam Kartum Avyayam. So this is the king of all knowledge, most confidential, most secret of all secrets. It is purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and joyfully performed. So this is the verse based on which this chapter is taken. So here, why we are calling this is rekindling wisdom, right? So rekindling wisdom means already wisdom is there, we have to kindle it. That's the meaning. Just like in wood, fire is already there. When you put some fire, external fire to the wood, when you kindle it, and immediately the fire starts blazing. So similarly, the love for Krishna is already there, knowledge about Krishna is already there in the heart. But by hearing from Guru, by serving Krishna, that love awakens. Especially by the process of hearing. When we hear from spiritual masters, and when that words enter the heart, it kindles the lost Krishna consciousness. We remember who we were. We remember that we are servants of Krishna. So that process is called rekindling wisdom. Okay, so that's why it's called as, we have named this title. This article is made by His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. So he's very expert actually. His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu making nice articles, nice workshops, and we take most of the sessions from him, most of the materials from him. Okay, so I think this verse was discussed last time. Matravat paradarishu paradraveshu lostravat atmat sarvabhuteshu iha pashyati sapanditah. So this is the Chanakya's definition of a learned man. This comes in the Chanakya Niti. So can anybody explain this verse one by one? There are three aspects to this verse. First is Matravat paradarishu. What do you mean by this? Matravat paradarishu?
Considering others' wife as our mother.
Okay. Other's wife only?
No, except one's wife, all the other women are mother.
Correct. This applies to a man. So a man should see every other woman as mother except one's wife. So that is the definition. So one should not see woman with this desire for enjoyment. Right? So in modern culture teaches us that enjoy. But the Vedic culture teaches that one should treat women with great respect. So that was Vedic culture. In fact, a lot can be discussed about this. In Vedic culture, women were highly protected by man. Right? They were given such high protection and such high status that even if they travel outside, they'll be carried in a palki. Prabhupada says that even in his childhood, his mother used to be carried in palki sometimes. So in palki, the whole it is covered and nobody can see. So such kind of protection and respect was given at that time. And especially the ladies of the royal dynasty, common people could never see them. It is said that Ayodhya also hardly could see Sita. So she was always in the palace, protected by the husband and the kings. So in that way, such high prestige and respect was given to the woman at that time. And any function happens, then ladies will be called first. And then they will carry the pots filled with water, and they will put rangoli, they'll put so many things. So they're considered to be very pure. So such kind of culture was there at that time. So matrut paradareshu, one should see every woman respectfully. So that's one aspect of this thing. Okay, and there are many chaste ladies mentioned: Sita, Mandodari, Draupadi. So they are all chaste ladies, and they have set the standard actually, the chaste lady. So there are two things: one, woman should be chaste, and a man should be sense controlled. So when this kind of combination is there, then that couple or the marriage will be successful. Right? But if the man is uncontrolled in his sense gratification, then even woman will also not respect him. So I decided that woman will respect people who have good sense control, and a man respects woman who is chaste, a woman who is chaste. So it's not about beauty; it's about chastity, purity. That's what matters. So Prabhupada writes in one place that let me open. One lady who was sweeping the streets in so this is the verse in 10th canto, 10th chapter actually. Prasada Shikhararudha Kuru Naryo Didrikshaya Vabrushu Kushmai Krishnam Prema Vrida Smitekshana. Out of loving desire to see the Lord, the royal ladies of the Kurus caught up on the top of the palace. Smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers upon the Lord. So from top of the palace, they were showering. When Krishna was leaving Hastinapur, so all the men were walking with Krishna, but women were on the top, and they were seeing Krishna from top and showering flowers on him. So it is mentioned that they were smiling with affection for Krishna and shyness. So Prabhupada says shyness is a particular extra natural quality of the fair sex, and it commands the respect from the opposite sex. Okay, so this custom was observed even days of Mahabharata. When he says here, it is definitely stated here that the ladies are smiling there on the top of the palace, checked by shyness. This shyness is a gift of nature for the fair sex, and it enhances their beauty and prestige, even if they are of a less important family or if they are less attractive. Right? Even if a lady is not attractive, beautiful, but she is having shyness and she is having purity, she will be respected. We have practical experience of this fact. A sweeper woman commanded the respect of many respectable gentlemen simply by manifesting ladies' shyness. Okay. Half-naked ladies in the street do not command any respect, but a shy sweeper's wife commands the respect from all. So, Prabhupada mentions this in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so when you see a lady fully dressed, very chaste, and so that automatically invokes respect, contrary to what Hollywood, Bollywood movies show nowadays. So that is Matravat Paradareshu. So man should see every other woman as mother. Then next verse is Paradraveshu Loshtravat. So what is the meaning of that? Can somebody explain? Paradraveshu Loshtravat.
Others' property and money is like a garbage. We should not be interested in others' money or property.
Correct. Yeah. Paradravya. Dravya means wealth. Loshtra means like a garbage or a stone. Someone should not consider it valuable. So whatever God is giving us, we should use it. One should not eye on others' property to steal it. So that is lost. Paradraveshu Loshtra. Atma Sarvabhuteshu. I would like others also to contribute. And Mother is every time telling if mothers can also contribute, that will be nice. What is the meaning of Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu?
All the living beings are just like ourselves. We treat ourselves that way. We should treat all other living beings.
Okay, so how you want to be treated, that is the way you should treat everybody. Atmavat. If you want respect, give respect to others. If we want love, we should love others, give love to others. If you want friendship, we should be good friend of others. So it is reciprocal. Whatever you want, give the same thing to others. That's called Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu. We want compassion. Give compassion to others. So, and the law is if you give, it will come back to you. Some people say, Prabhuji, I have no friends. I'm feeling lonely. What to do? You make friends. You be a good friend, and then you will get good friends. You be compassionate, you will get compassion. You give love to others, genuine love, then the love will come back to us. So in this way, it is a reciprocal relationship between personalities. So, Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu Iha Pashyati Sa Pandita. So such a person is called as Pandita, a learned man. So this is the definition of education. Okay. So this is the definition of a learned man. But on the contrary, the modern schools and colleges, they don't teach this. They teach only how to get marks and how to get a high-paying salary, high-paying job. So that is the entire goal of education system. But Vedic education system, the knowledge, the education was to develop the character of a person, and this is the character. Okay. Examples are also given. Yeah. So here Shivaji Maharaj refused to enjoy extremely beautiful Muslim married woman brought to him after a war, whom he addressed her as mother. So one of the commanders of Shivaji, he went and defeated a Muslim and brought the lady from there. And he said, Shivaji, I got a gift for you. So Shivaji says, what is that? And when he got this lady and showed to Shivaji, Shivaji was so angry, he removed the sword, I'll kill you. He told his minister that I'll kill you. How can you do like this? Insult a woman like this? Go and leave her respectfully in her place and come back. Give her to the parents and come back. So if you do it again, I'll chop your head, like that Shivaji said. Because Shivaji knew this formula of how to respect other women. Paradraveshu Loshtravat. Right. So example is given here. Boys empty their friend's pocket, taking them to canteen. In this way, they delight others' money. Sometimes they do parties. No? One person's money they will squander and enjoy. Example is Duryodhana also. He captured the Pandavas' property for 12 years, 13 years. That is example. And Shibi Chakravarti, Atmaswarup Bhuteshu. Right? He cut his own flesh to protect a pigeon. Right? You know that story? So was this discussed? How can our education make us perfect gentlemen? Don't remember? Okay.
No, Prabhuji, this part was not discussed.
Okay, these are not discussed. Okay, so then I begin from here. So every one of us is born ignorant and we require specific education and training for seeing things as they are. This is called Shastra Chakshu. So we cannot see spirit souls. We need Shastras to help us understand. So that's called Shastra Chakshu. So education comes from the Greek word educare, which means to bring out our original nature. Our original nature is to serve Krishna. So education brings that original nature out of it. Therefore, that education is considered supreme, which can teach the students how to love God with their hearts and live one's life in alignment with God. That is the actual meaning and purpose of education. Okay. Now, I want some of you to read this. One of you can take turns and read, and I'll elaborate where required. Yes, who would like to read now? Okay, Omkar is raising hand.
Okay, Prabhuji. From where, Prabhuji?
Yeah, learning to see living being.
Okay. Learning to see every living being as pure spirit soul and seated in different bodily vehicles. The humble sages, by virtue of a true knowledge, see with the equal vision a learned and gentle Brahman, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater outcast. Bhagavad Gita 5.18. A Krishna conscious student does not make any distinction between living beings of a different caste, color, nationality, species, etc. Because all living beings are children of the Supreme Lord. A devotee student sees that one is a wearing cow's dress, another goat dress, another squirrel's dress, yet another a human dress. But ultimately, the driver of all the material body is the spirit soul, who is accompanied by Supreme Lord in his form of a
Yeah.
super soul.
A very interesting observation. So goat body is a dress, cow body is a dress, human body is a dress. Right? So there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita which says this. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Right? So what happens? Anyani samyati navani dehi. So when you give up the old dress, you take a new dress. Similarly, when you give up old body, you take a new body. So that's the meaning. So goat body. So there are 84 lakh species, 84 lakh bodies, and the soul can accept any one of the bodies according to their karma. So it is not at all by chance. According to your karma, you can take these bodies, and then one can. Actually, it goes on. It's like a cycle. You keep on going on in these 84 lakh species until you come to human life. And if in human life one doesn't practice Krishna consciousness, again go back to animal life. It's like chakra going on, going on, going on. Please read this. Srila Prabhupada.
Example, Srila Prabhupada offered the message of a Bhagavad Gita along with the chanting of a Hare Krishna and Prasadam feast to hippies of the West. Though they were into various bad habits, like smoking, drinking, drug addiction, and illicit sex, Prabhupada saw them as a God's children and reached out to them, reformed them, and made them happy in Lord's shelter.
So hippies are addicted to all bad habits. How many of you seen this video? Movie Hare Krishna, the Swami, the mantra, and the movement. Okay, Dr. Harsha Madhuri Singh.
Prabhu, I want to see. Do you have a link?
Okay.
Can you share the link with us?
It was there on YouTube, released by them. and it was there for some time, available freely watching. Now it is not, but we do have CDs. We do have CDs. It is there in CD format available with us. I don't know how to send it, and it is illegal to upload it anywhere. So either it is sent in CD format, or I think one can watch it on. I have to find out whether it's available online somewhere. It was available for
Prabhu,
free
it
for
is available
Hmm,
on Prime. I
okay.
guess it
In
is
some
available on
which one?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Yeah, maybe we can watch from there. I think maybe you have to pay something there, I guess. So it is very wonderful movie made on the life of Srila Prabhupada. So how it's very nicely taking from beginning to end life of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, so you can watch it. But I have other video which you can watch. You or your well-wisher. It also gives a life of Prabhupada. So entire life of Srila Prabhupada.
His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The movement he started is now known to millions around the world. Yet he himself remained in the Quran, becomes the capital point.
It takes on the life of
Life's intolerance.
India,
Siddhanta
Vrindavan,
accepts the
Sannyas,
renounced order to chant,
there's
worship,
Vrindavan,
and write.
Goswami Samadhi.
Often he's it have Kumar Jain, a printer.
The magazine printed.
I'll just take it to UP land this year.
Where the
So Prabhupada doing Kirtan. 1966, Prabhupada's Kirtan, first Kirtan in America. Many people are watching. Prabhupada is doing alone. He's alone actually. He's the only Indian. Everybody is American. And he has some followers who are attending his Gita classes. So you see some people wearing tilak and pant shirt, jeans pant, chanting and dancing. You'll see only one person in dhoti kurta there. It's Kirtanananda.
A friend of mine told me about Love Celebration at Tompkins Square Park, which was last Thursday, or Thursday before last. And I knew I had been seeking a guru for a while. So Krishna sent me there, and I was there.
a feeling
As in the rigid Hindu consciousness with
has come to your hand.
I can share this with all of you, so you can watch it. Very inspiring it is to watch Srila Prabhupada's videos live. So you'll see Prabhupada transforming hippies who didn't know anything about Krishna into very exalted devotees of Krishna. That is the power of Srila Prabhupada. So that is education. Yeah. Because why it was possible? Because Prabhupada saw them as God's children, and reached out to them, reformed them, and made them happy in Lord's shelter. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Please read.
How can I become a perfect gentleman? An interviewer asked Prabhupada how one could recognize the true follower of Krishna consciousness by his behavior. He had been a perfect gentleman. Prabhupada said, "That's all. Therefore, I prohibit my disciples to eat meat, prohibit illicit sex, life, and prohibit intoxication. They do not even smoke. What to speak of other intoxication? I prohibit gambling." Prabhupada said that whoever observes these four rules will become a perfect gentleman. The interviewer asked whether there was a place for women in the religion. Prabhupada replied that women and men had the same rights and followed the same principles.
Yeah. So perfect gentleman, this is the word. Devotee means he should be a perfect gentleman. His behavior, his character, his conduct, his speech should be perfect. So that's how you can recognize a devotee. Right? So when Srila Prabhupada was preaching in Americas, hippies became devotees. So some of the hippies, boys, they started wearing dhoti kurta, and some of them shaved their head, and because they had long hair, no? Long hair coming to here. So Prabhupada told you should shave your head. And why do we shave our head? Because it indicates detachment, vairagya. So because generally people think if you have long hair, we are beautiful. So Prabhupada said, shave your head. And when they shaved their head and they started wearing tilak and then taking only prasadam, chanting Hare Krishna, they become so much transformed that even American people are surprised. How are these people glowing? They said they're glowing like light. So that such kind of effulgence was coming from them. That's what people observed. And then a report came to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, yes, because they are following pure lifestyle, they're glowing. And if somebody does sinful activities, he will not be able to glow. He'll be shrunken, he'll be very disgusted. So in this way, this is the way we can recognize Prabhupada's devotees. Yes. Okay. Yes. Can somebody read now? Yes. Dr. Harshamat is raising hand. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Knowledge, skills, and values to become a perfect gentleman. Acceptance of authority. Vedic education being a descending process, Avara Pantha, success is founded on the student's acceptance of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Without acceptance of authority, the imports of Vedic knowledge will not be revealed. Example, Arjuna accepted Krishna's authority, Bhagavad Gita 2.7, heard Bhagavad Gita and achieved success of all sorts. Shivaji Maharaj accepted Sant Ramdas and Sant Tukaram as gurus to guide him and succeeded in his life. Service attitude.
First thing is what? Accepting Guru. See, every successful person accepts a Guru. Example is Arjuna and Shivaji. Guru is why Guru is required? Because there will be some challenges in our life which we cannot solve. Some problems will come which we cannot solve. Only Guru can solve. That's how Guru is required. So higher authority is required. And who is a Guru? One has connection to Krishna. Because he has connection to Krishna, he can solve all the problems of life. It doesn't mean that, okay, you have some disease, you go to Guru, please give me some medicine. No, he will not give that medicine. But he will give the solution how to get out of this world. Right? No more material world, no more material body, no more disease, no more material problems. That solution he can give. Right? So science and technology may give solution to some patch-up solution to problems. But the ultimate solution for all problems is given by Krishna or a Guru. So the main problems of life are Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, old age, disease, death. So this solution is given by Guru. Nowadays we can easily see that so much of disease, so much of pain, so much of suffering is there, death is there. We can easily see two things now, death and disease, isn't it? So many cases coming every day, so many people dying every day. So death is and dying is so evidently visible. Now, who can stop this? It's so difficult. Everybody is dying. So, but if we practice Krishna consciousness, if we become fully Krishna conscious in this life, even if death comes, next life will be glorious because we'll be with Krishna. We'll not be again in this material body. So we have to prepare our life in such a way that this becomes our last life and we go back to Godhead and take no more material body, no more another birth, death, old age, disease. That solution Guru can give. Yeah. Yes, next point.
Service attitude. By service to Hari Guru Vaishnavas, the desire to learn is invoked. By such humble service, our heart is purified and good values, habits, character, and culture is developed, thereby awakening the ability to inquire submissively. Applying the knowledge acquired from the superiors in the practical real life situations, faithful service done with the knowledge and devotion and wisdom and blessings received from service to great souls elevate one from the theoretical platform to the platform of realization. Therefore, service under the guidance of authority is the root of Vedic education. Watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your culture.
Yeah, correct. So the second point is service. See, knowledge we may get by hearing, but that knowledge cannot be digested without service. Like when we eat food, food goes to the stomach, but the stomach will not nourish the body unless you do some work. You have to walk, you have to do some service, you have to do some activity, physical activity, then the food will get digested. If you eat and sit simply, food will, how much can we eat? And all the eaten food will just go deposit in the body and will cause disease. So in order to digest the food, we need to work. Similarly, in order to digest spiritual knowledge, we have to serve the Guru. By service to Guru only we can digest. Otherwise, what will happen? We'll hear, and the knowledge will remain in the head only. It will not go to the heart. And even after many years, we'll be wondering, we are hearing soul and body, but how can I understand I am soul? Right? The basic questions will still remain because he is not doing service. Same fundamental questions will remain even after a long time. So one has to do some service. One has to ask and check out what service can be done, and then take up some little bit service and then execute it. So that's why it's important. That's also another aspect of knowledge. I saw some schools where children every day do service. In Puttur, near Mangalore, there was school where I went, and every day morning when the school starts, suppose it starts at 8 o'clock, first 15 minutes, all the children clean their classroom, clean the corridor, and make it spick and span, and then attend the class. It's not that they have employed people for cleaning and washing. No? They only clean. And I asked them, what inspired you to make this culture? Yeah, this Vidyalaya. And one of the aspects of Vidyalaya is that one should be humble and do service. So they're including this as service. And when lunchtime came, I saw all the students were sitting in rows, and the teacher announced, so this classroom, please come, and you have to serve. So then they took their buckets. Their children came, took the buckets, and started serving in lines. So they only clean, they only serve, they only maintain the whole school. So this is actually service, one of the aspects of Gurukula. So one should serve the spiritual master. Yeah. So thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habit, and habit becomes character, character becomes culture. So everything starts from thoughts. Okay. So one should hear proper thoughts and then act accordingly. So then we will have a good culture. So the culture of service has to be created. So that's the point. Yes. Can somebody read?
Behavior with juniors, equals, and seniors. A student must have the ability to relate within the different spheres of social dealings. Parents, teachers, friends, people in general, saints, environment, and animals, and lower creatures, in such a way that he keeps his dealings respectful, friendly, and non-violent. The standard of behavior is to respect seniors, have friendly spirit with equals, and to be kind towards juniors. The unhealthy behavior is jealousy towards seniors, unnecessary competitiveness with the equals, and to be exploitive of juniors. Example.
Okay. So I'll just ask a question now. Unhealthy behavior means what? Jealousy towards seniors. How can a person become jealous towards senior? Somebody is superior to us. Why will he become jealous?
Because we don't have those qualities, those are in there.
Okay, so
The second thing, we are jealous about their position.
one can become jealous. See, he is getting high position and he's getting a lot of respect. He's earning more salary than me. So many people surround him, follow his instructions. So when you become jealous, why not me also like that? So the jealousy can come by seeing seniors. And then we equals, what can happen? So with equals, there is
Competitiveness.
Competition. Yeah, competition. So generally we see in equals, especially in the classroom, college, there is competition. Who will become the first? And unhealthy competition. So I was hearing one story from one senior devotee that in one IIT college, there was a topper, and there was another person who was jealous of that topper, and he somehow wanted to bring the topper down, pull his leg, and bring him down. So, but he was so sharp. The topper was so sharp that he was learning very nicely, making notes, and memorizing nicely, and he was writing exams. So this fellow thought what to do. So then he said, "I will take his notes and I will not give him, so that he will fail in the exam." So one day before tomorrow's exam, generally one day before the toppers they revise. And so this person came and asked, "Can you give me your notes?" So he said, "I have to read. I don't have time, so I have to read. So I need it." So, no, I'll just take it and just refer some things. I'll take Xerox, some portions, and I'll give it back. Within 2 hours, I'll give it back. So he took the book in the evening 5 o'clock, and he went, and then he was never to visit him. He didn't come directly next morning exam he gave. And this topper was searching here and there. Where is the book? Where is the book? Where is this fellow? So what is this called? Unhealthy competition. In order to, this person is envious of that person, other friend, he wants to pull him down. Unhealthy competition. And then you see, sorry. And with the juniors, what happens? So juniors, there is exploitation, exploitative mentality. There's tendency to use them in surveys, give them some tasks, like it happens in ragging. In ragging, what they do, seniors call the juniors and say, "Write me homework, or bring some things for me, bring from hotel this for me." They do a lot of ragging. So that is exploitative mentality. But on the contrary, when our devotees, they made the juniors in the college, they behave with them so nicely. They are very loving. They help in their college activities. In fact, they provide support for studies. They provide support for placement also. So the juniors feel very comfortable talking to the devotees. So that should be the nature of a person, non-exploitative. So the examples are also given here. Yeah, please read the examples.
Temple Yudhishthira was respectful even to envious seniors like Dhritarashtra. He dealt with his brothers as well as citizens compassionately like a father towards his children. On the other hand, Duryodhana was envious of Yudhishthira's opulences in Rajasuya Yagna. He had vengeful attitude towards Bhima. He insulted Draupadi publicly without decency.
Yeah, so all of you know this story. In Mahabharata we discussed. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was so respectful to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra tried to kill all of them, but still he was respectful. But on the other hand, Duryodhana, he was envious. He was always waiting for an opportunity to insult Yudhishthira Maharaj, defame Yudhishthira Maharaj, kill Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Duryodhana did not respect. Even Duryodhana did not respect Vidura, did not respect Vyasadeva's words, did not respect his father Dhritarashtra. He respected nobody. Even Guru Dronacharya, Bhishma, he was always speaking words which were hurting them. So because of his offenses towards all these great personalities, he was doomed. Right? Nobody was happy with him. But on the other hand, for Yudhishthira Maharaj, people are so happy with him. So one should try to learn this quality of respect from Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yeah. Habits. Somebody else can read now? Somebody raise the hand. Okay. Anuradha Mataji, and then Srinivas can read.
Habits. Habits constitute a regular tendency or a practice that is hard to give up. Example of simple bad habits are sleeping too much, eating too much, postponing, spending too much, and passing rumors. Addiction to smoking, drinking, drugs, illicit sex, etc. are senior bad habits. All these bad habits can be easily overcome by chanting Hare Krishna regularly. Serious bad habits. All these bad habits can be easily overcome by chanting Hare Krishna regularly. Good habits are ABCD, associating with devotees of God, studying Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, eating healthy diet beneficial to body, mind, soul, Krishna Prasadam, etc. Example: a thief became a thief became a devotee and still could not get rid of his old habits. Once, when all devotees went for a picnic, he got up midnight and his hands were itching to steal. At night, he just moved one bag from one place to another place. In the morning, there was a commotion due to all people searching their luggage. But when this thief got up, he honestly admitted his problem. In this way, sometimes our old habits embarrass us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we also have to make a list in our life, what habits we have, which we want to give up. That somebody may have habit of simple habits. If, for example, keeping things unclean, okay, or not washing things properly. Or another bad habit can be, some people have a habit of biting nail, which is not good habit because it's contaminating. So we should immediately wash our hands. So some habits are there which we know it's bad. So what we should try to make endeavor to give it up. And we may seek help from others also. So simple bad habits are not very harmful, but there are some serious bad habits which are harmful, like smoking cigarette or drinking alcohol, illicit sex, intoxication. So they are very, very bad. So that should be given up. At any cost, it should be given up. There is no mercy for that. One should make endeavors to give it up and then become clean. Okay. So here thief example is very nice actually. So what happens? We want to give up bad habits and we stop doing bad habits, but they again come back, revisiting. So this thief was going with pilgrims. He had become kind of a gentleman. He was going with sadhus to pilgrimage. But in the night, he got some itching. I want to steal. And so many luggages there. I want to steal. So what he did, he knew, hey, these are all saintly people. He should not steal. But what he took one bag from here and put it there, and that bag he put it here. So he exchanged the bags. So when they got up, they were wondering, where is my bag? Where is my bag? They were searching. There was commotion. So then this thief put his head down and said, actually, I'm a thief. At night I was getting a desire to steal, but I did not steal. So I just exchanged the bags. Please forgive me. So the habits are like this. So they don't go up so easily. You know that, maybe I'll just show that. I don't know whether I've shown you the PPT. Power of habits, yeah. Okay, that's here. Just a minute. I'm just opening that. Let's see this. You able to see the slideshow? So the habits are addictive. You remove H from habit, a bit remains. You're able to see this? And then you remove A also from that, bit remains. You remove B from it, it remains. So the habits are very difficult to give up. Old habits die hard. Everything becomes weaker with time, but habits don't. Before you realize you have got the habit has got you. It's very difficult. We don't even come to know when the habit became. So we enter the habit, and then later we realized, oh, we got into addiction. It's not very clear. Habits are like cobwebs, then cables. Yeah, cobwebs are very soft, but when it becomes cables, it's very difficult to give up. Habits are like soft, cozy beds, easy to get in, difficult to get out, especially in winter season. Soft, cozy beds, very easy, nice. You can sleep, put a blanket and go to sleep. Very easy to go inside, but morning to get up, oh, very difficult. Alarm is ringing. We are ignoring and sleeping. So, chain of habits is too soft to be felt, but too strong to be left. So, sometimes they put hatkadi. It's very soft sometimes, but very strong. You cannot leave it, you cannot break it. Habits also like this, hand tops. Right? I can leave drinking anytime, but yeah, okay. In this way, there's some points there. So about habits. So the point is that habits, we should cultivate good habits and try to give up bad habits. Okay. Yes. So now, Srinivas, can you?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you
Yes,
hear me?
Hare. Yes.
Discipline, obedience, and self-control. A regulated lifestyle, eating, sleeping, and recreation in appropriate quantity, with discipline, obedience, and self-control, offer the best platform to the student to succeed in all his material and spiritual endeavors. Example, when Hanuman set out to begin his project for searching Sita, he climbed on Mahendra mountain, folded his palms, closed his eyes, meditated and prayed to Vayu, his father Surya, his guru and Lord Rama, Lord of his life, for blessing to achieve success, and thus he came out successful in his attempts by their empowerment. He also controlled his desires by not accepting the comfortable residence offered by Mainaka mountain. He controlled his ego by becoming tiny in front of Surasa demon, who showed enlarged mouth. Thus he could proceed on his mission without hindrance. He had self-control while at Lanka, not to become allured by any beautiful women. Leading a disciplined life of celibacy, he could serve Sita Rama with great love, and thus his character has become immortalized in the hearts of all people since time memorial. Hare Krishna.
About Hanuman. So Hanuman, we can learn a lot from Hanuman. So here, Hanuman is jumping. Hanuman is jumping high. So with the blessings of all those great personalities, he jumps. So, and comes Mainaka mountain. So Mainaka mountain was the mountain which actually was protected by Vayu. When Indra was cutting off the wings of all the mountains, at the time Vayu put Mainaka mountain in the ocean and saved him. So now being grateful to Vayu, he offered a resting place. Please come and sit, you must be tired jumping so long. So please sit, rest, and then you can continue. Well, Hanuman is Vayu Putra. And Vayu Putra Hanuman says, actually I have very less time, I don't have time. I'm in an urgent mission, I have to find Sita. Already we are late. Already the 4 months of, already 1 month of time which was given to us is over. So we have to go back immediately. So please let me go. So he just touched the mountain, respected him and went ahead. So he was so determined to finish the task. Time is short, goal is yet to be achieved. Never accept comforts that dampen enthusiasm. It is Mainaka mountain. We can learn from Hanuman this eagerness to serve. And after he went, there came another demon called Surasa. So she was not allowing Hanuman to go. So she said, you have to enter my mouth and then only you can go. So Surasa opened her mouth and Hanuman became big. Surasa became even big. Hanuman became even bigger. So like this big, 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 big. And Hanuman suddenly became very small, entered the mouth and came out. Okay, so we have to become humble. So Hanuman expressed humility. So Hanuman was humble. And then came another demon called Simhika. So this demon, he was very difficult to be humbled. So what Hanuman did, he entered the mouth, he entered the heart, and broke the heart and came out of the body. And then Hanuman continued the journey. So this represents envy. So envy chokes the progress, it makes us lose strength, and it has to be destroyed. So that lesson we can learn from Simhika. So Hanuman had all these qualities of discipline, obedience, and self-control. And when he reached Lanka, there he expressed sense control. He was looking at many ladies. Who is Sita? Who is Sita? And he's a brahmachari, so one should not look at ladies so intently. So Hanuman was thinking, what am I doing? And Hanuman said, my heart is pure. I'm just searching for Sita, and I'm not having any bad thoughts in my mind. So it is for service of the Lord Ram. So then he continued service. So he was not allured by the beautiful women who were there in the palace of Ravana. That in the middle of the night, and they had just finished some dance and party, and they were sleeping in different postures. Still he was not allured. So that shows his sense control. Okay. Yes, can somebody read this?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, Raghunath.
Hare Krishna. Cultivating values, not just like skills. By values, we mean the standards of our actions and the attitudes of our hearts and mind that shapes who we are, how we live, and how we treat other people. Values should not be mistaken for some skills. Practicing values benefits both the practitioner and the person on whom it is practiced. Unlike these values, skills like goal setting, ability, mathematical genius, sports expertise, and all personal traits are not universal values. Dronacharya asked Maharaja Yudhishthira to go out into the kingdom and return after finding someone less qualified than himself. And he asked Duryodhana to search the kingdom for someone better than himself. When Duryodhana returned, due to his egoistic, self-righteous nature, he told that he couldn't find anyone better than himself, and that everyone he came across had some fault or other. The saintly Yudhishthira, on the other hand, returned unable to find anyone. Prabhuji, camp organized the Vedic oasis for peace. Inferior to himself. Dronacharya called both of them together and addressing Duryodhana, he told, you couldn't find someone superior to you. Here is that superior, Yudhishthira. Addressing Yudhishthira, he told him, you couldn't find one inferior. Here is that inferior, Duryodhana. A good soul is one who can see good in others. A fault finder is one who considers himself all perfect and finds only faults in others.
So there's a difference between Duryodhana and Yudhishthira Maharaj. Duryodhana always felt that I am the lowest, and Duryodhana felt I am the highest. Yudhishthira felt I am the lowest. So that is the attitude which both of them carried. So you have to cultivate values, right values. So not just skills. So Duryodhana had skills, but he had no value system. He was always cheating. And he was guided also by people who were valueless. Shakuni, Karna, Dushasana. So they were all no values. So because he was guided by such people and he himself was such personality, he could not succeed. But if you see the value system of Yudhishthira Maharaj, truthfulness. Arjuna, obedience to Krishna. Whatever Krishna says, he will do. Bhima, although he had power, but one good quality of Bhima is he was obedient to Yudhishthira Maharaj. If Yudhishthira Maharaj says something, he will do it. If Yudhishthira Maharaj says don't do, he will not do it. So that was the kind of obedience he had towards Yudhishthira Maharaj. So all the 5 Pandavas were very skilled in different things. They were united by their obedience to Krishna and their obedience to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So although Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't have such power as Bhima and Arjuna, but still Bhima and Arjuna were subordinate to Yudhishthira Maharaj, seeing the character of Yudhishthira Maharaj, seeing the Dharma Palana of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So that is very important. So value system. So and this value system we can develop by reading Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, especially reading the lives of great souls, Mahajanas, like Bhishma, reading about Yamaraj, reading about Prahlad Maharaj. So they're all like great personalities. By reading about them, we can get the values which they have developed. So then character, culture, yeah, these are the two things we also have to develop apart from values. See the character. Yeah, can somebody read this? Character.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Nishal.
Character. According to Vedic standards, good character is the most important qualification for a student and not merely academic learning. When a person is highly educated in different departments of knowledge and acts strictly on moral principle, he is called highly learned. Together, these two factors constitute learning. Lord Chaitanya glorified Srila Haridas Thakur as the ideal preacher, as he both practiced achara, explanatory in character, and prachara, instructing others in Krishna consciousness. Building good character means adapting Krishna consciousness with qualities such as
How many of you?
simplicity.
How many of you know about Haridas Thakur? Do you know about him?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, okay. Anybody does not know? Okay, everybody knows. It's wonderful. So Haridas Thakur is called Namacharya, Haridas Thakur, and he's a great saint. He was born in Muslim family but became a very wonderful Vaishnava. So Lord Chaitanya gave him the name Namacharya Haridas. He gave him Acharya because Acharya means one who sets an example for others. So you are the Acharya for chanting because you chant and also preach. So that's why you are called Acharya, Namacharya. Yeah. Continue.
Building good character means adopting Krishna consciousness with qualities such as simplicity and service, prayer and purity, humility despite great learning, tolerating adversities and sticking to duty, respecting all and not demanding respect, integrity and honest, abundance, mentally and non-envious, sharing heart,
What is
courage
abundance? Abundance mentality? Anybody can share what is abundance mentality? Any idea? There are two things. One is scarcity mentality and then the abundance mentality. Abundance mentality means to think, oh, everybody has its own quota. There is no scarcity in this world. Whatever food I need, I have. Whatever food others need, they have. Whatever wealth I need, I have. I will get it. Whatever wealth others need, they will get it. So everybody will get its quota. So there is no need to be greedy and be fearful of scarcity. Okay, there's abundance. So these are the character actually. Here wonderful points are given here. Simplicity, all of you know. Simplicity means staying very simple, not very lavish. Service, prayer, purity, humility, despite learning. Humility despite learning. Even though you know so much knowledge, still we are humble. Real test of learning is humility. Just like a tree which has got fruits, it bends low. But a tree without fruit stands high, proud. Similarly, a devotee who has got real knowledge, he will bow down with humility. God is great, I am tiny. So he becomes very humble. But a foolish person, he just is proud of this thing, learning. So that is called humility despite learning. Tolerating adversities. Difficulties will come in life, so we have to tolerate them as our own karma. Sticking to the duty in all situations. Respecting all, no, okay, and not demanding respect. We should not demand respect, but we should give respect to everybody. That's why in ISKCON we call everybody as Prabhu, we call as Mata, then we offer Vanchakalpadrubhashya obeisances to each other. Integrity. Integrity means a very important quality. Integrity means what? to there's subtle difference between integrity and honesty. Honesty means what? You tell what you have done. That's honesty. Okay, I did this mistake, so I'm telling you this. That's honesty. Integrity means what? Doing what you say. So that is integrity. Walking your talk. That is integrity. Is much higher. So integrity also means what one does when nobody is watching. When nobody is watching, what one is doing. That is called integrity. So, and abundance mentality, already discussed. Non-envious, sharing heart. Okay, without envy, like Yudhishthira was non-envious. Even to his enemies, he was ready to give everything. It's non-envious. Courage, compassion, maturity in expressing one's needs while showing sensitivity to all living beings. Okay, it's called maturity. Maturity means what? How you deal between extremes. So that's called maturity. Showing sensitivity to all living beings. Let's suppose you want to correct somebody. Right? So you have to correct somebody without hurting him. That is maturity. But some people may correct and it may hurt others also. So that's lack of maturity. So correcting without hurting. Being strict yet considerate. Right? If you're too strict, then people may get annoyed with you. But if you're too lenient, people may do whatever they want and there may not be any discipline. So strict yet considerate, right? Correcting without hurting. So this kind of balancing extremities, that's called maturity. So this maturity comes by experience. Of course, it can come by hearing also, but generally we develop maturity by experience. Yeah. So please continue, Mr.
Example, an IT engineering released secrets from his company to rival company with a desire to quickly make big money and was blacklisted and laid off. Even the rival company later refused to observe him, doubting his integrity, and thus he suffered jobless for years. But taking shortcuts due to greed for quick money, he made some money but had to suffer in the long run. Integrity is not duplicity.
Integrity is non-duplicity. Okay. What is duplicity? Duplicity means what? Showing something and being something else. That is duplicity. Like we are something, suppose we are having some bad feelings inside, but we are showing very nicely a smile on the face, like Duryodhana. Right? So that kind of personality is duplicitous. But simplicity or integrity means what? Being what you are. Just being what you are. Like inside and outside one is same only. So that is good quality. So here this person from one company, he was working on some project and other company was also working on the same project, but this company was little leading and they're about to release the product. So then this company said, I'll give 1 crore rupees, you give the secrets to us. Then this person got allured and then he released secret from this company through a secret file and gave to them. And that company took this secret ideas and developed the product much faster and launched it before this company. So now this company was amazed. How did they get secrets? And their design is almost similar to ours. How did it go? Then they started researching, then they inquired, and then they found out this person has done it. Because they found the history of how the data was taken in a pen drive and everything they tracked. And then they found out that he has done it. So they immediately banished him from the company. They blacklisted him also. And this fellow thought, okay, anyway, this company is not taking me. So I'll go to the other company to whom I gave the secret. But the other company, they said, no, we'll not take him. Can anybody give the reason why they didn't take him?
Because he will repeat same
activity. Right? If he is not trustworthy with one company, then how will he be? How will the other company trust him? So they say, we'll not take you because you will release our secrets to somebody else. Your character is weak. So you go. So one may get quick results by taking some shortcuts like cheating, but it cannot last for long. When a person is exposed then he has to hang his head down, and he will not be respected in this world. So that's why one should try to be following this quality of integrity. Very important. Both in spiritual circles and material circles, we have to follow this quality of integrity. How to do that? We have to see where I am lacking integrity, and we have to identify, and we have to keep working on them and try to make full integrity. Integrity, another definition is what? What Krishna is telling, what Guru is telling, what my mind is saying, okay, and what my senses are doing. Everything should be in one line. So Krishna, Guru, my desires, mind, senses, actions should be in one line. We should just do what the Lord is telling us to do. So that is the meaning of high integrity. And if you do something which is not, which is something different than what Krishna and Guru is telling, and is detrimental, sinful, then it is lack of integrity. Okay. So Sheena was telling that examples like earlier our kings used to do supporting Britishers. Okay. Can you explain in what connection you are telling this example?
So this with regard to trustworthy. So the way the IT engineer has revealed the secrets to another company. Similarly, if you see in olden days, our kings or his ministers, what they were doing to get the position of the kingdom, they were supporting Britishers. So later, what happens? Britishers did not give the kingdom to them because they know that that person is not a trustworthy. Because so that's how this is one example is quoted.
Yeah. So he's saying there are two kingdoms, and one kingdom was enemy of other kingdom. So what they did, they took help of Britishers, and then they defeated others, like this. So one person will release the secrets, and then take help of Britishers, and then defeat the other person. The Britishers had this modern guns and ammunition, so it was easy for them to defeat. But our kings had only these swords and tops, so it became difficult. So, and then the Britishers also lose trust on that person who releases the secret, and then he'll not take him. Correct. Yeah. So that's about character. And the last point, culture. Yeah. Can somebody read this? Who is not read till now? I think Dheeraj is not read. And we have, I think, new person, Hasini. I'm seeing the name for the first time.
She's my daughter, probably.
Oh, okay. Welcome. Is she able to understand this concept?
Yeah. So just started.
Okay. How old is she?
She's in 9th standard.
9th standard can understand. I thought she'll be smaller. Okay. Yes. Who would like to read? Okay. Again, Vaishali Mata is there. Yes, please read.
Culture, it is said, Janmana jayate Shudra samskarat bhavet dvija, which means everyone is born as Shudra or uncultured, but by practicing certain purificatory procedures, one can become second born. The first birth is given by parents and the second birth is given by Guru. The meaning of second birth is to take to Krishna consciousness faithfully and seriously under the guidance of Vaishnava devotee. Such culture involves living a God-centered life of devotional practices like accepting shelter of Guru and inquiring from him truths about soul, God, spiritual world, etc., with the desire to purify one's heart and return back to Godhead. It also involves spiritual practices like chanting, hearing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, worshipping the deities, associating with devotees respectfully, eating prasadam as Lord's mercy, wearing modest devotee dress such as dhoti, kurta, sari and tilak on forehead to remind ourselves and others of Sri Krishna and offering obeisances to Lord and the devotees. Ronald Reagan, we don't.
We'll take this quote later. Now here we will see that culture is by training. So it's said here, no? Purificatory procedures, they are called samskaras. Right? So जब जन्म लेते हैं तो जन्म से पुराना कर्म आता है. We are born according to our previous karma, but when we get samskaras, different samskaras. When you go through those samskaras, then our character gets formed. It becomes a culture. Right? So there is garbhadhana samskara before birth. When a person decides to conceive a child, he does garbhadhana samskara. And after garbhadhana, when his child is born, when lady is pregnant, they do simanta. And after that, they do, after birth, they do jata samskara. Then they do anna prasana, then they do chudakarana, and then they do this mantra, aksharabhyasa, starting of Vedic learning. Then they do upanayana. So like this, so many samskaras have to be done. By doing the samskaras, what happens? The subtle body of the person, the child, will get good impressions. And by those good impressions, which are done through the samskaras, he can develop his character. So, and everybody in this India used to do this. So the culture of India was spiritual because of doing such samskaras. But one may have undergone these samskaras, one may not have undergone. Or even if one has undergone, then one might not have undergone in a bona fide way. Some Brahmana must have done something without knowing the meaning. And even sometimes parents also don't know the meaning of why they're doing the samskaras. So in that case, what happens? The samskaras may not be effective. So it should be done by a bona fide person in a bona fide sampradaya. Then it becomes very effective. Actually, when the person is doing samskaras, the consciousness of the guru gets transferred to the person who is undergoing the samskara. So in that way, it's very, very important activity. So especially in ISKCON, at least the Diksha Samskara is very, very important, wherein a person surrenders to Guru and accepts the spiritual master and agrees to follow the 4 regulative principles and chanting Hare Krishna. So if he commits to that, and then the Guru accepts him as a disciple, and then he gives him a new name, a spiritual name. Right? The old name remains, but he also gives a spiritual name, which is in connection to Krishna or Lord Chaitanya. And then he takes the guarantee that I will take him back to Godhead. And then there is a yajna done in presence of the deities, in the presence of the holy fire, the holy Vaishnavas, and spiritual master. So that yajna is performed, and then the when the yajna is complete, then the initiation procedure is complete. So that also gives a very deep samskara to the people undergoing initiation. So at least the initiation ceremony is very important in ISKCON. So that forms the character of the person. So that's called purificatory procedures. So there are 2 births. First birth is by parents, second birth is by guru. So that's why a person who is initiated is called as Dvija. You will hear this word again and again coming in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, Dvija. Dvija means second birth. Ja means Janma. Dvija means second birth. So generally Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they undergo the Diksha ceremony. So they are called as Dvija. They accept a spiritual master and study under a guru. But Shudras, because of their capacity is not sufficient to learn Shastras, so they are restricted from learning. But anybody who is capable, especially from the top 3 categories, he takes initiation, so he is called as Dvija. Okay. So it also involves chanting, hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, worshipping deities. Right? How many of you do puja at home? You have some Krishna photo, something, and you do small agarbatti, some lamp, and some flowers. So basic puja, all of you are doing at home? You have a chance? Okay. Anuradha Mata is raising hand. Okay, others don't have any photo. Initial also does. Okay. What about others? Okay, Vaishali Mataji also has. Okay. Right. So it's very simple. So everybody can do this. Similarly, just take a photo of Krishna, keep it on a table or altar, or Srina's Pro and family also do. I'd gone to their home, they have a nice altar, and they do wonderful programs. Damodar programs, they call all the neighbors and do Damodar Arati programs. So in home, we can have some photo of Radha Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and offer some agarbatti, some lamp, ghee lamp, some flowers. So, and then whatever you cook at home, you can offer to the Lord. Okay, or sometimes it's not possible, you can offer some fruits or dry fruits to the Lord and take it as prasadam. So in this way, one can be engaged in service. That's a good samskara. If you do this at home, you will see that your home will become like a temple. Right? Nowadays, because of COVID lockdown, people cannot come to a temple. So why not make home into a temple? So, and do morning, evening, little puja and chanting in front of the Lord. That itself is temple. Okay. Yeah, please read this quote by Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, we don't expect our children to know and discover the principles of calculus on their own, but some of us would give them no guidance when it comes to ethics, morality, and values.
Yeah, so Ronald Reagan is, I think, president of America at one point of time. So he says this. Yeah, we don't expect our children to know and discover the principles of calculus on their own. But some of us would give them no guidance when it comes to ethics, morality, and values. Right? And we send our children to school to study calculus, mathematics, trigonometry, science. But do we have any program for them to learn ethics, morality, and values? How can you expect that these things will come by chance? No, this ethics has to be developed. Truthfulness, integrity, honesty, maturity, that should be taught to them how to do that. Some things may come by birth because of past karma, but some things have to be taught. So, and that teaching is real education. Okay. So nowadays in schools, colleges, some schools, colleges have, but most of them don't have this side. So you have to supplement it. So you have to encourage students and children to attend Gita classes, attend Bhagavatam classes, attend classes on Mahabharata, Ramayana, participate in devotional programs. So this will create a wonderful foundation for them to become good persons in the future. Okay, so otherwise it is not possible. There is no hope. It's not by chance. By chance, nobody will become a pure devotee. Okay, so we'll do this activity today, and then we'll end for today. So the activity is here. So underline personal values, double underline interpersonal values, wave underline social values, and circle spiritual values. Okay, I cannot give you this file to underline, but I'll read one by one, and you can say whether it is personal or interpersonal, social or spiritual value. Okay. First one, honesty is the best policy.
Social value.
Social.
Honesty, actually it's a personal value. One should be honest. It's more of a personal. See, personal value means applying to you. Okay, like integrity, honesty, like applying to you. Now, interpersonal means two people should be involved. Like for example, correcting without hurting. So this is a interpersonal because two people are involved. Social value means many people are involved. Okay, and spiritual value, it's connected to God and spiritual advancement. Okay, so like that, I hope you got the idea. Now, suppose correcting without hurting, it is an interpersonal value. Now, steadiness in adversity.
Values.
Huh?
Personal value.
Personal, correct. Yeah, because your own personal thing. What about others, you don't know, but we should be steady in adversity. That is personal value. Simplicity.
Values. Personal.
Personal, yeah. Okay. And devotional service.
Spiritual.
Spiritual.
Okay. Spiritual. Okay. And obedience to superiors.
Interpersonal value.
Interpersonal. Two involved. So, one follower and superior. Two are involved. Unity and diversity.
Social value.
Many people are involved. Like India is unity and diversity. So many religions, so many languages. So unity and diversity. Saintly association.
Spiritual value.
Spiritual value.
Correct. Self-management.
Personal values.
Personal.
Correct. Cow protection.
Social
Social
value.
value.
Spiritual values.
Okay. So, yeah, it can come spiritual also. It can come in social also, because it's also social responsibility to take care of cows. Okay. Responsibility.
Personal.
Yeah, correct. Personal value. Prayer and purity.
Spiritual
Spiritual
values.
values.
Spiritual. Spiritual. Humility and success.
Personal.
Personal values.
Personal.
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 Culture of sharing.
Social.
Interpersonal.
Social values.
Okay. Social. It's like many people involved. It's a culture of sharing. So many people are involved. Dignity for women.
Social.
Personal.
Values as well as personal.
Dignity for women. Okay.
Social
I feel it's more social value. Correct. Social. Because but like that dignity everybody should give to the woman.
Mhm.
Dignity of labor.
Social.
Social value.
Social. And if laborers are not given respect, then there will be strikes. No? You see the buses are not moving in Bangalore for so many days. No? It's dignity of labor. Punctuality.
Personal.
Values.
Personal values.
Personal. Empathic listening.
Interpersonal values.
Interpersonal value.
Correct. Because one person is speaking, another is listening. Interpersonal. Reverence for all life.
Social.
Social values.
Reverence for all life. It's social value actually. Because all the dogs, all the cows, all the birds, everybody should be respected. Environmental protection.
Social values.
Social values.
Social.
Social value.
Integrity in crisis situation.
Personal
Social.
values.
Personal value.
Personal. Thinking win-win.
Interpersonal.
Interpersonal.
As well as
Yeah,
social.
interpersonal. Two people are involved. No? Okay. So I should also win, he should also win. So let's come to a wonderful program by which both can win. Otherwise, generally what happens, win, loss, win, lose, or win. So best is win-win situation. Both should progress. Self-realization.
Spiritual value.
Spiritual, correct. Tolerance in tough times.
Personal
value.
value.
Correct. These are the personal values. So very nice. All of you understood these points. So in this way, we have to try to cultivate this kind of values in our own life. So this is called wisdom. Wisdom is already there. These all qualities which we are discussing is already there in us. We just have to rekindle it. Right. So when you kindle it, it becomes more and more awakened. And how to kindle? By chanting Hare Krishna. So when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And we attend these classes, we read Gita. So then what happens? This points will be rekindled. Right. So last time we had made some groups of reading. So our boys group is doing nice. Rishikesh, he's not there today, but Omkar, Shubham, and so Dheeraj also joins. So they're all doing nicely. Regular reading, 7:30 to 8. It's wonderful. So by reading, by chanting, so one can very nicely progress in Krishna consciousness, rekindling wisdom. And I hope girls group is also doing.
Yes, Prabhu, we have completed the book.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, fast, huh? How many are joining
Yeah.
here?
Harsha Mataji, I, Suchitra Mataji, and then Shivani Mataji.
Wonderful. I thought
We have
boys group is fast.
3 days ago. Means
Okay. So I think the boys have to catch up.
2 days ago.
Yes. Okay, it's wonderful. Keep doing this. Can anybody has any questions?
New book.
Okay, you have completed that book, na? Krishna consciousness. Perfection of yoga, right?
Yes.
Topmost yoga system is completed. You can read this: perfect question, perfect answers.
Okay.
Perfect question, perfect answer. There, what you have to do, one person becomes, they're all discussions. So one person should become Prabhupada, another person should become some interviewer or disciple. And then you have both has to read together. It's like that. It's a conversation book. Perfect question, perfect answer. And boys group can also do the same thing. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anybody has any question? One question? If it's there, we can take. Otherwise, we'll end for today.
Prabhuji, last week, one of the Matajis asked that what is the function that Garbhodakshi Vishnu will do? And also, one of other question from my end is that, so when these avatars happens, no? So which Vishnu does this? Is it Mahavishnu or Garbhodakshi Vishnu or Karmadakshi Vishnu?
Hare Krishna, I think I got disconnected. Yeah. So did you read this? Did you hear this verse? 131?
No, Prabhu.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so I was telling that this first, you can read this, you can take this reference, you can read 131. This verse tells about how Lord Mahavishnu creates all the material elements, all the universe, ingredients required for the universe is created by Mahavishnu. And within the universe, Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters. Yasyam bhasi shayanasya yoga nidram vitanvataha nabi hrudam bhujadasi dhamma vishwashridam patihi. So this is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. He is lying down in the ocean, in Garbhodaka ocean. Yoga nidram vitanvataha nabi hrudam bhujadasi. From his nabi sprouts a stem and a lotus, and on top of whom is Brahmaji. So Brahmaji creates the material universes. He is a secondary creator. First creation is done by Mahavishnu. Garbhodaksha Vishnu creates Brahmaji. And yasyavayava samsthane kalpito loka vistaraha tadvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham satumurjitam. And on the Garbhodaksha Vishnu's body, on this lotus, actually, the lotus which is compared to the subtle body of the universe, all the planets are resting. And it is considered to be Virata Rupa form. And then Garbhodaksha Vishnu is seen Pashyantado Rupam Adabra Chakshusha Sahasrapadur Bhujananadbhutam is seen with hundreds of thousands of heads, thousands of hands, thousands of Shravanakshi Nasikam, and thousands of helmets, Mukuta, and all things. And then Garbhodaksha Vishnu is described Etannanavataranam nidhanam bijam avyayam yasyam syamshena srijjante devatiryannaradayah. So Etan Nanavataranam, this Garbhodaksha Vishnu is the resting place of all the avatars. Nidhanam bijam avyayam. So all the avatars are resting in him, and at the right time they manifest. Yasya amsha amshena srijjante devatiryannaradayah. Naradaya. Garbhodaksha Vishnu's amsha is Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Kshirodaksha Vishnu amsha is like his Garbhodaksha Vishnu amsha is Brahmaji, and Brahmaji's amsha is all the rishis, and from him all the species are created. So this form, the second manifestation of Purusha, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, is a source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, others are created. So this is the meaning. So Garbhodaksha Vishnu is the source of all the avatars. Mahavishnu is the creator of all the material elements. Garbhodaksha Vishnu is the creator of Brahmaji and is the source of all the avatars within this universe. And Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the Paramatma in everybody's heart. Okay. So you can read these verses again, then you can get better understanding. Okay, Srinivasu?
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. We'll end here and meet again next week. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.